I've been working in IT industry for the past 14, 15 years. I primarily work in low code, no code space. You can get more details about me at my website, shahansha.com. And I request everyone to go on mute. And if you have any questions, you can put it in the chat window, or in the end, we'll have 10 minutes of Q&A. You can unmute and ask your question at the end. But then just to make sure that keep a note of your questions. I work in a multinational company as global AI and automation lead in low code, no code space. Again, I'm not a hardcore AI developer, but then I know exactly how to use AI into our applications, how to infuse AI into our applications. So I develop chatbots, websites, automations, apps. So I have a lot of talks as speaker, and then I have developed a lot of AI apps. So if you go to my website, you can see tons of at least 15 AI apps I have developed. Have a look at it when you are free, and let's get started with our session. So that's one of the key thing which we keep hearing these days is obviously AI. And then what is currently trending is AI agents. AI agents is something which almost every IT company or non-IT company is talking about. But let's try to understand this. What is assistants, agents? Before going that, I would definitely wanted to say, see, AI has a lot many branches, and one branch. So let me go ahead and say AI has like artificial intelligence. What we do basically what human can do, can that be done with machine intelligence? Then that's called AI. So we see, we smell, we talk, we listen, we process, we think, and is it simple or complicated? We hear. If mission trying to do that and being an intelligent, not being dumb, then that's called AI. It's trying to mimic what human does or far beyond what human can do. So that is called artificial intelligence. And one aspect of it is definitely Gen AI. Gen AI is a part of AI. Gen AI, generative AI. So basically, this is like every day what we do at our office or at in laptop. Either you create a document, Word, Excel, or you create a report, or you create an article, or you create the code. So basically you are creating some content, and for that content you have some context, you have some background information, you look inputs from somewhere. So if you can generate this with AI, that is called generative AI. So generating the content with AI, that branch is very specific to generative AI. And there are algorithms how we can do this. So those algorithms are called GPTs, and those GPT models are called LLMs. So LLM is a large language model, basically is a type of generative AI, and it uses some algorithms like GPTs. We are not going into details of LLMs or GPTs, but that is the latest trending, hottest, and those models are breakthrough in AI, and those are some things which we are using to generate some content. So you know about obviously the Chat GPT, Claude, Google Gemini, Microsoft Copilot. All these things are nothing but part of Gen AI, and those are having different models of this LLMs, and that is primarily text based to begin with. But then now it is becoming that it's not just a text based, it is multimodal. What is multimodal? What is
भाई white polar bear.
Shahar?
Today I saw
Shaharia, can you
something
please go
strange
on
in my
mute?
dream. For the first time, I thought I.
Sh can everyone go on mute, please? Yeah, thank you. So what is multimodal? Earlier chat GPT and all these things are text based. You put input, you get output. That is all text. But now it is multimodal, which means that you can give audio, video, text, image as inputs, and you can get these as outputs. These are called multimodals. So now this GPT-4o and upcoming models are multimodal, which means you upload an image, then it will say what is in this image, what is exactly happening in the image. So those are multimodal models that are coming in. So now um, you might be wondering that there is prompt engineering courses, this, that. So if you want to become good at using AI, the first step you need to do is definitely doing the right thing with prompt. So that if you are writing effective prompt, then that is called prompt engineering. So you may be having 8 hours courses, 10 hours courses, or 2 hours courses for prompt engineering, which is a first step for using AI. But in 5 minutes, I'll be saying exactly what is needed to do a best prompt. Yeah, basically that's what we need to do to write a best prompt. What it is, so you'll have a role. You'll say the prompt should have a role, and it should have a task, and it should have a context, and it should have what kind of format you are expecting, and it should have if there are any requirements, examples, constraints. These things you need to mention in your prompt. Then once you put up, someone is keep talking. Can you please go on mute, because this is going to disturb everyone else. So let's see an example. For example, you need to write a API documentation. So you need to write a API documentation. Then how do you go and ask AI? You'll simply go and say that, hey, I need help in writing API documentation for this XYZ task. But that is just saying the task. But to get better outcome, if you want to get a better outcome, then you need to add all these things. Role, you will say that, okay, AI, you are a senior technical writer where you are expert at writing API documentation with your extensive knowledge. And now task, you need to create, here is the task, you need to create a comprehensive API documentation for payment processing endpoints. So this API details, you are giving this task and context to it. What is the task? The task is to write API documentation. The context is payment processing endpoints. The API is RESTful API, etc. You gave a context to it. And then you are specifying what are your specific instructions. It should be open API specification. It should include authentication methods. It should provide request and response examples. So these are coming under specific instructions. If you have any specific instructions, you give it. And then you should give an example. If you give an example, then it will do best. So believe me, writing a simple single statement versus writing all these things in your prompt. For example, you want to avoid something, you don't want something to be there, or you want a different sections. So you can mention those constraints as well. And if you need a tone or a style or any kind of output format, for example, your output format should be JSON, mention it. And if your tone or style is like professional, do it. So with this simple technique, you will be becoming a prompt engineer just with the simple stuff. So let's see some examples. Here is an example. But let's say you wanted to write a blog post. So you simply say that write a blog post for XYZ, but not that. You need to mention that, okay, you have a role, you are a content writer. Say that you are a content writer and you need to write what is the task? The task is write a blog post. What is the context? The context is for a website targeting the adventure seekers. And what are the specific instructions? Use a friendly tone, discuss 5 adventure destinations, and include the activities to try at each destination. Example, you will give an example what you are looking at, then it will understand. Example can be small, example can be long, whatever you think, because the input and outputs of LLMs have become more. Now you can input a lot of data. So you can give a very good example from some other websites as well. An output format, you are expecting 800 to 1000 words with headings and subheadings. And if you want to avoid something, you mention in constraints, avoid mentioning expensive or exclusive options. So here is the full prompt. Write a write a blog post for traveler adventures, etc., etc. You combine all these things in, you create a very good prompt. So this is best prompting advice which I can give over my experience. So with this, once you are good with the prompt engineering, then you are one step above. So next what? Next what is that? Okay, these all Chat GPT and Google Gemini, Copilot, all these things are available. People have started using it and they're getting outcomes from it. But then what next? What next is very important thing, because this is coming to every app, this is coming to every website, this is coming to every part of our life. Then that's called assistance. So from a general meaning that, for example, if you are working with a product and there is a small icon called assistant, like chatbot, you click open it and then you will ask any question, you will get the answer. So as simple as assistant is maybe kind of a chatbot, which you have a website and in that website there is a small icon and you click on it and you open it, and that is called assistant. Earlier also there were assistants, but those were static assistants, or the assistants which can answer only the FAQs. If you have a question, for example, you go to let's say Amazon, or you go to Lenskart, or you go to some other website where you have a chat assistant. We'll call it chatbot, or again, the definitions are different in different companies, in different platforms, different in different teams. So if I'm saying something, then it means that I'm saying in a generic way. But if you go to different websites and different videos, you'll see these things are interchangeably used. Sometimes people call just chat GPT as assistant. Sometimes people just call chat GPT as an agent, but sometimes people call chatbots as a different thing. But then let's understand in a generic way as a layman. For a layman, an assistant means you go to a website, you go to a product, and then you see a small helper. Then that is called assistant. Earlier, all these assistants are static, which means that they will be able to answer only FAQ. And if there is any complex question, they'll say raise a ticket, or they will transfer it to live agent. This was the scenario so far before AI. But then now these assistants have become intelligent with Gen AI. And what they can do now is it's able to answer things not from FAQs, but from our data sources, but from its generative knowledge. Because these assistants are, these AI assistants are trained on a large model and trained on your specific data, then it can answer things from its own data source. Even if you have, let's say that there is a HR assistant, example, let's take it, there is a HR assistant, and you have leave policy, you have maternity policy, or you have exit and entry policies and all those things. And if you have a question, you go with HR assistant, you ask a question that how many holidays can I take per month? Then it goes through your existing data sources and it will give you an answer. That is an assistant's job. So like this, you can create tons of assistants and you will be able to get answers. You can create ITA ticketing assistant, you can create HR in terms of enterprises. But in terms of outside world, you can also see a lot of assistants. Sometimes assistants are also called as, let's see the terminologies. So let's see, it's just a part of existing product that can intelligently respond to users. So assistants sometimes called as chatbots, sometimes it's called as custom GPTs. And sometimes people interchangeably use assistants with agents. But for me, it's a strong separation layer between assistants and agents. We'll understand it when we discuss about agents. So let's say that This can be a chatbot, custom GPT, or it can be a plugin to existing product. Can be a plugin to existing product, but it's a AI plugin. It's not a simple plugin which does something, but it can be a plugin. So things like that. So it is integrated within your product, or it can be a standalone thing as well. So now let's see an example. Here, when I go Hugging Face, before this, let's make it a little interactive. Can you make one prompt? Can you make a prompt using this prompt style and send me in the chat window? So if you're good with basically asking questions to chat GPT, can you create a prompt and then send me in that chat window with these things: role, task, context, format, requirement, examples, tone, things like that. So go ahead, do that. I'll give you 2-3 minutes. Let's go ahead and try to do it, because once you do it, then you will understand that, okay, next time when you are trying to do something, you will be keeping these things in your mind, and you will go ahead and do it. So I want you to prepare a prompt, and if you are in front of laptop, or even if you are on mobile, that's okay. Let's try to create a prompt and send it in the chat window. I'm going to monitor the chat on my mobile, and then see if you can make a prompt with this. It can be as simple as writing code. It can be as simple as asking AI to write an blog post, or it can be as simple as creating an image, things like that. See if you can make a prompt. Example is here. You can see that examples. Let's say it's a e-commerce. Write a short product description with 50 to 75 words for an e-commerce platform selling sustainable clothing. Highlight eco-friendly features and benefits such as organic cotton t-shirts. So it's basically having all the things we discussed. All the things which we discussed is action, context, specific instruction, input example, output format, and constraints. Because we have a small number of audience, that's fine. You can take a minute or two and see if someone can put an example prompt in the chat window. One is going to put it. Even if you're not typing in, keep this in mind so that it will be easier and helpful for you to write prompts, because writing prompts is essential for the next things, which is assistants and agents. So now coming back to assistants. So now I'm going to something called Hugging Face. So have you heard of Hugging Face? If yes, just type yes in the chat window. If no, then just type no. Okay, I think there is a few no's as well. So let's go ahead and see. So what is Hugging Face? Hugging Face is a community-driven AI spot. So if you want to know, or if you want to do anything with Hugging Face, or if you want to do anything with AI, the first community place where you can see what's happening in AI space is called Hugging Face. So Hugging Face has AI models, it has data sets, it has spaces. Spaces are where these AI models run. So it has spaces, it has community, posts, and documentation. For example, let's say Llama. Llama is a Facebook model. If you are aware of LLM models, so Llama is a Facebook model. If you see Meta Llama 3.2.1. So if you want to know about this Llama, then you go ahead and you see instructions. And if you want to run this, you can go ahead and run it here. So all the details of the models or the data sets or the spaces are available here. It's not just big companies, even small companies, because it's community driven, it's mostly free. and you will be able to use the existing model, open source model, which is available here for your purposes. For example, let's say that image to text. If I want to see object detection or text to image or image to text, so computer vision, here are all the models. I want image to video. When I click on image to video, you see this. These are all the models which are helpful for image to video. For example, let's say stability AIs, SV to 3D. So now this model will help you to convert your image to video. So here is an image and it has created a video out of it. So like this, if you have any model which you wanted to see, image to 3D, image to 3D, or if you have anything to do with natural language tech. Faisal bhai, can you please go on mute? So zero shot, for example, if you want to do with natural language or you want to do anything with audio, if you want text to audio, you click here and you'll see models here. So um, honestly, this is the biggest AI community that is available on this earth. And you can go here and take a look at it. There are new models coming in. There are new things coming in. You don't have to be an AI developer to understand all these things. The only purpose at this point for non-technical people or for non-coders or not so AI developers is to understand what is out there and bring it to our tasks, bring it to our team, bring it to our app. So if you want to bring computer vision capabilities, go here, look what is available there, which is working fine. Test it out because it's free. Test it out and then see if you want to implement that into your app. So that's what Hugging Face is. Now, there's data set spaces which I would let you know to check it, but I'll copy the URL so that you guys can take it as a note at the end. And now Hugging Face has a chart. So let's see Hugging Face chart. So Hugging Face is having a chat, which is called huggingface.co/chat. So it is just like Chat GPT. You can use it, but then the difference is you can choose the models. So if you want to choose the model, you can click here, and these are all the models. If I want Microsoft 5.3 model, Llama 3.1, NVIDIA's model, Coher's model, Quent's model, whatever model you need, you can choose it. You can choose that model and then you can start chatting. That's little different than other things because we have tons of models here. Now, the interesting part is this assistants. So you go to assistants and then here you will see these are the assistants which are created by community members. There are many assistants. So for example, I want an assistant which is for image generation. For example, let's say image generation or writing code. So here is someone has created a image gen plus. First is I'll see how many members have added this. There is 10K plus. This is a good number. So I will select this. And now here it says, okay, this generates image in HD, bulk and with simple prompts for free. So it says this one. So let's go ahead and create. Let me sign in. So I'm going to assistance again.
वो दियो जो पहले वो
Fazal
जफरा है
bhai
ना
and Wasim bhai, can you please go on
पहले
mute?
चलाया है वे
Wasim,
दोनों को भी दे दो वो अर्जेंट कर रहा है वो गोश्त भी
Can mute everyone
हो
at
गया
once.
Saik bhai, can you please yeah, thank you so much. That's helpful. Okay, so I'm going to assistance here on Hugging Face. You need to log in, and then let's say that you image creator. So let's say this is image gen, and then you can say that. So I'm saying create image. So what this does is it is very specific task which it is going to create an image for us. So that is a specific assistant doing a specific task. This is just giving the prompts, I guess. Let's see if it creates an image. So it's trying to create an image. Let's wait for it. Right. So what it does is it has tried to give some images which is not working as expected, but that's fine. So let's see what this is. So here, if you go to assistants and when you go here, if you see this one, Imagen, when I click here, you go to settings. So here it says that, okay, this is the system instruction. So you are a image gen plus and image generative AI made by so and so person. What is the meaning of promptify? So he has written a system instruction. He has written a very big system instruction. So this system instruction is basically what it is giving an output. So you can create your own assistant with this system instruction. But in Hugging Face, we see only you will be able to specify only the specific instruction. But basically, assistance has much more than that. But this is step one. So assistant is basically a customized prompt, or it can be a customized GPT prompt. So basically, if you see custom GPTs in Chat GPT as well, it's nothing but a customized prompt. So for example, let's say there is a coding assistant, let's say coding assistant, and let's search for any coding assistant here. So story creator. So story creator, it basically says that you are a story creator assistant. You will be going to create an story for what user asks. Similarly, there are many things. So someone, this image generator, here is the coder. So let's see what this does. So here you are a primary objective to assist users in their code writing process through code while offering explanation. The emphasis is not only on providing accurate and error-free code, but also enhancing the users. So these are the instructions they have given, and it can also access internet. So this is what this assistant is going to do for us. So you can ask a question. It will be very specific, answering only the coding related tasks. Similarly, in ChatGPT, when you go to ChatGPT, let's see if I have it open. So if you go to ChatGPT, so here are the Explore GPTs. So when you go to Explore GPTs, you will be able to see all these things. So these are called custom GPTs, or this can also be called as assistants. Again, as I said, company to company, the definition of assistants or agents is different. So sometimes people call this as agent as well. That's okay. That's okay. Like Microsoft may be calling it Copilot as assistant sometime, Copilot as agent sometime. That's okay. And sometimes these are called Copilots as well. These are nothing but again, this is also something which we need to keep this. Sometimes it is also called as Copilot. So that's okay. These terms are interchangeably used. Let's not worry about definition. Let's try to understand what it is. So here, website generator. So when I click on this, the GPT is not found. Question. Maybe I need to refresh this. Let me see in the meantime if I can find something else. Yeah. So here is the website generator. I clicked on it. So it says 25,000 people has reviewed it and I can chat with it, build and host a website. So I click on start chat. And now what is the difference between the basic chat GPT versus this custom GPT is this is specific towards website generation task only. So assistants are primarily for doing a specific task. So host, build and host a website, create a, I need, for example, I need a course and page that targets IT professionals. I've given something like this. So now what it does is, oh, it's asking me some questions. So what, so it's primarily trying to give you the definition, title, and everything. So it is also asking me, website generator wants to talk to, now it is going to talk to some third party and it is trying to create a website for me, but then this has a sign up to the website, and once you sign up it will be able to publish it for free. So this is something, your new website is ready, and sign up to see the website. So here it is, it has created a website for me, but you need to sign up to see this website. See if it really created a website. Just randomly creating it. Let's see if it has really created a website. Yep, it has created a website for me. So Microsoft Copilot, master this, unlock. So it has created a sample website. Basically, if I have given it more instructions, for example, I need to give the details like team members, what are the courses, and contact information, all those things, then it will be able to create a better website for me. And once you click on publish, it will be publishing it. So similarly, you can explore a lot many custom GPTs which can do tons of work within just few seconds or few minutes. So this is
Answer, is it
custom
a
GPT.
free version or like is it a paid version? If you can highlight this, like the Hugging Face which you are using.
No, this is Chat GPT. Earlier, I showcased Hugging Face.
Mm-hmm.
Hugging Face is free completely, and Chat GPT to use custom GPTs, you can go to Explore GPTs, and this is also free, but there is some limits. So
Okay.
if you want to go beyond the limits, you need to pay. I'm using the free version, by the way. Keep your questions in the chat window. Yes, the flow will be interrupted. Um, so now you publish it, I'll do anything, etc., etc. This is a code copilot, so you go ahead and search. So like this you can go and do a lot with assistants. Now how can I create a new assistant? So with chat gpt you can also create your new assistants, but you need a plus plan. So once you have a plus plan, here you see create, right? So you can create your own gpts as well. So you can create your own GPTs. If you get the plus, then it will be interface something like this, where uh, let's say that you will see the, so when you create, so you can, it will have option to upload your own icon. It will have an option to upload your own files. You can give your description, and you can give your example messages, and you can give what it can access. Can it access web search? It can do anything. And it will also have the system instruction. System instruction is meaning that what you wanted to ask user, what you wanted user to see. So similarly, you can create your new assistants in these platforms. Either you can create it for general public, or you can create it for your enterprise. So we can actually, we'll step into the enterprise in a bit. But for now, for general public, you can use Hugging Face, you can use ChatGPT to create your new assistants, or sometimes it's called custom GPTs. So custom GPTs and these things is nothing but you have your custom specific system prompt, define the data, and then there will be sometimes function calling and things like that. Function calling in the sense you call your own API. You can also call your own API. So in this example, when we saw this village landscape, if you see this, they have used a pollination API to create images. Unfortunately, it didn't create images. Let's see if it can create images as well. Mention that I guess this is 50,000 plus, it should be able to create image. Basically, it is using a pollination API, and it is calling that API. And once it calls this API, it will be able to create the image, and it will showcase this. So this way you can also use APIs within LLMs to create something. So you will, how do you understand existing one? Go to assistants and you click here, and then here in the settings, if you see, it will be showcased what they have used. If you want to create new, go ahead, play, create new. But if you want to play creating new in chat GPT, then you need to actually have a plus plan. But then you can use existing GPTs to explore what it is. These are featured, but there are tons of GPTs which can help you. For example, you need an architecture drawing. This is something which we use in, let's say, in our projects. So if you want architecture AI and maybe solution architect. So if this is IT architecture drawing generator. So if you go here, generally ChatGPT doesn't do well with architecture drawings. But then if you try this one, this will be creating better outcomes than what ChatGPT can do. So these are different GPTs. Go ahead, explore it. There is tons of GPTs out there. You'll get some ideas and how we can use it. So these are, at this point, these are dependent on this platform, but then you can create this as these custom GPTs, or you can create this assistance as standalone, and you will be able to basically, for example, let's say you created a presentation assistant or presentation GPT. Then you can take this as a separate website, and you will have that. Okay, let's say that I created a website and I embedded this custom GPT or custom assistant in our website, where you can create presentations. So it becomes on its own product as well. So like this, you can create assistants as well. So for now, the task is go ahead to Hugging Face, go ahead to Chat GPT, explore these things and understand how this assistants work. And if you want to create it, look at YouTube videos, or go ahead, explore it with Hugging Face, and then come to Chat GPT, get the paid version and start creating your own assistants. Now, a step next, in organizations, in enterprise, how are we going to do this? How are we going to do this? So that is using what we call now as, I'm showing it in OpenAI. So let's see this. I'm going to platform.openai.com. If you have never registered to platform.openai.com, this is for core developers. where you can go, and once you log in, earlier they used to give $5. I don't know whether they're giving $5 now or not to explore it. But then here is your assistant. So you go here, you can create your own assistant, and you can manipulate your existing assistant. For example, I need to create a new assistant. I click on create assistant, and then it will showcase me what is the name of the assistant, what is the system instructions, which model you want to use. Do you want to use GPT-4, GPT-4 Turbo, or whatever this you wanted to do? And if you want to do any file search, so you can add your own files. For example, let's say HR, I'm a HR. I'll add policy documents here, like leave policy, like the employee onboarding policy, like the insurance policy, all those policies here. So when I turn on, you can select the files, and then this assistant is going to answer only from these files. And this is useful for organizations. I'm showcasing this in OpenAI platform, but then you can use this same in Azure OpenAI. Again, these are all not coding. I'm not showcasing you any coding, how to do it with coding. I'm showcasing you how you can do it easily with these tools so that this can be used within organizations, or this can be used by general public. So far, we discussed how we can use existing one or create for general public. Now what I'm showcasing is for organizations. So where you have your own organization, and then you will create those projects, and you are going to create the assistance for it. Let's call this as HR. And then you are a HR assistant answering professionally to employees. I can give big in the system instruction, but just for the sake of this, I'm using GPT-4o. I'm saying I want a file search. So I can give any file. You need to upload the file. Let's say sample HR policy document. Showing you how to create the assistant. So it will be, so here is a sample leave policy template. Let's go ahead and download it. We have it. I think it's just the content. Okay, leave India. Something is there. I'm just downloading it. I'm blindly looking into it and downloading. Okay, maternity leave. Let's say it has maternity leave. I'm going back to my this one. I'm going to upload a file. So let's say downloads. I'm going to leave India policy. Yep, attach. Now this will be stored here, and then yours is done. And code interpreter. For example, if you want assistant to write a code and run the code, then you need to turn this on. And if you want to call some functions, meaning that you have your APIs and you need to call your APIs, uh, function callbacks are also available. These are little advanced concepts which I cannot showcase you right now, but these are very powerful concepts. So your assistants become much more powerful. So assistants are not just like you ask a question, giving answer. As I said, these are becoming intelligent day by day, which means that it can do much more than answering a simple text question. So for our use case, so we have this. I'm going to, let's say, I'm going to run this. Hopefully it runs. So let's say, what is the sick leave policy? I'm running this. If this is processed, if this file is processed, then it is going to, yeah, here it is, HR. Yep. What is the source? From where it is going to get the source? The source is the file Leave India policy. So Leave India policy. So we have created simply a HR assistant within few minutes. Now think that how many IT admin policy you wanted to create an assistant for it. So you can easily create this within few seconds. In fact, you just ask documents and you create an assistant for it, and it is going to answer from your things. So I'm asking a simple question, which is a realistic question, which people ask. Instead of going to HR all the time asking questions, they come to, yeah, eligibility is 6 months. I mean, a total of 26 months. Let's go on. Additionally, there is an allowance for 6 weeks after the maternity leave. So this is what it says. And total leaves, women employees can avail themselves up to 30 leaves for, yeah, it's still going ahead and answering. And these are all the sources. When you click on this, you will see where the source is. And if you do it properly, much more fine tuning, then you will be actually able to see the page numbers as well, from which page it is bringing the answer. Because I asked about women, it is also getting women employees can take 32 weeks of maternity leave, etc. for a surviving child, a maternity leave of 12. So this is really good information before talking to HR, instead of going to hundreds of pages of this. So this way you can create your own assistants, which you can use within an organization. So this is assistants. Let's go back and see what is agents and what is the difference. Sometimes, or maybe that's true as well, sometimes people call assistants and agents as same, or they interchangeably use assistants and agents. But from a general point of view, assistants are something which are helping you to assist with something like HR question, you get an answer. But an agent on a different level, agent is something which can take an action autonomously. So for example, I ask a question, let's say that the question is how many leaves I have. So maybe here I can use this functions, and then I can say that how many leaves I have, then it will be able to go into the system and try to fetch it. Mostly not possible with assistant, but sometimes yes, you can write your own code or functions and call those APIs, and API will get an answer and you will get it. But for such tasks where you need some actions to be done, for example, I need to take a leave and I'm just going ahead and typing here saying that I need to take a leave and go ahead and apply a leave for my sick leave, and with just one line, then the agents come into action. Agents are some things which do actions, and these are automations are already there from past. So automations happens from decades. Automation is happening from decades and will happen and will continue to happen. But what is the difference is now intelligent automation is called agent. As simply as that, intelligent automation is called agents. Let's see how is that, what is that. Again, I'm not going to deep dive, but let's give the basic understanding of agents. For example, let's say that you wanted to create a report. You wanted to create a report. So I'm going to say that here, hey, I need to create a report, or not just here, anywhere I'll go ahead and say, because these agents are not tied to a chart interface. These agents are something which are autonomously running in the backend, where it can be triggered. It can be triggered. So this trigger can be something like a chat. It can be something like an event. It can be something which is scheduled. So these are the triggers where if an agent needs to run every day, yes, we can schedule the agent to run every day. Now, if it needs to be triggered, for example, when an email comes, then you need to run it. Yes, that can be triggered. And then there will be actions. For example, there are actions which we define, or there are APIs which we can have. So these agents knows how many actions are there or creates the actions. Actions are nothing but the, when you do automation, you will create step-by-step actions, right? So those are all the actions. So for example, the action is, let's say I need to get leaves, number of sick leaves. So it goes, the action is it goes to my work workspace, or it goes to Oracle, or it goes to timesheet, and it pulls how many number of leaves I have through an API, and then it will get the answer. So that is an action. Or for example, you have got an email and you need to respond to the email with agent, then it is reading the email and then it will be creating the response and it will be sending the response. So it will auto decide what needs to be done. So those kind of, if with minimal human interventions, for example, if you need human interventions or approval, then it will send an approval. So it all depends on how you develop the agent. So once you develop the agent, if approval is needed, it will send an approval. If approval is done, then it is going to do the action. For example, replying to a client. So a client has sent an email and is asked for a report. Now it sees the email and then it is going to create a report what he has asked, and then it is going to send the reply. But before sending the reply, it sends an approval to respective project admin, and project admin reviews and then says approve or reject. If it is approved, yes, it goes ahead and sends the details. But then if it is rejected, then if you write reject comments, then AI agent is going to check why it is rejected, what is the comment, and it is going to take an action based on that comment. So these are autonomously running agents which is meant to do intelligent automation. For example, again, I will be talking more of an theory for now, but these are all reality that is coming. Let's say that there is an e-commerce website or e-commerce platform. So for an e-commerce platform, there are many things happens in the backend. There are recommendations, there are order trackings, there are refunds related things, there are user queries related things, and there are logistics related stuff. There are many things. So far, yes, everything is being done traditionally, but then there is an agentic way of doing things. For example, you need to verify whether this refunds is going right or wrong. So there will be a refund agent, and there will be a ratings agent. There will be a recommendations agent. So earlier we used to have everything in an APIs in a traditional way, but then we will be having agents which are intelligent, which can learn, which can create actions, which can run actions automatically based on the inputs. So there will be a trigger, there will be inputs, and there will be some action taken. And based on, I mean, these actions will have some skills. Skills are sometimes it's uh, skill is, for example, you need to create a presentation. Then that presentation can be kind of a skill, or sometimes it's just called automation as well. How are these being done? These are using LLM. So these are using this Gen AI models. So in the backend, how are they going to create, or how are they going to take an action? So all this context will be passed to LLM, and then it will automatically take the action based on it. So let's see an example. I'm going to use something called I'm going to use something called make.com. Again, some things are traditional automation, but let's understand beyond the traditional automation. So make.com is one platform which is primarily used for automation. Like this, there are many other platforms as well. Because this is free, I'm just showcasing you. Understand the idea, but not exactly the platform. So what it is, make.com is low code, no code automation platform, low code, no code automation platform. So now let's say that create a new scenario, build from scratch, start with a template, create using AI assistant. So you can also create with just typing what automation in it. Let's say start with a template. Generate chat GPT completions from Google Sheet rows. New Airtable, save Gmail attachments to Google Drive. So some things like this, share data. Let's see if it is more meaningful. Yep. So here it is, create Canva designs with data from Google Sheets and upload to Google Drive. So what it is trying to do is it is getting the information from Google Sheets and it is creating a design in Canva and it is going to upload to Google Drive. Now, similarly, let's say that you have some information in Excel and you want to create YouTube video. Let's see, let's create a YouTube assistant. Let's make a quick YouTube assistant. So for YouTube assistant, sorry, for YouTube agent, what it does is it gets content from Chat GPT. So it gets the content from Chat GPT, and then it is going to use Canva to create video, and then it is going to upload or yeah, upload the content to YouTube. So let's say this is YouTube agent. What it does is it tries to get the ideas and content and SEO from ChatGPT. And then it is using Canva to create that video from the content or the script which ChatGPT gave. And then it is going to upload it to YouTube. So how are we going to do that? How are we going to do that? So let's say I'm going to get started. And here, so here the trigger is the first thing which we call is trigger, right? So let's say the trigger is manual, runs once. Triggers. So here is something called integrations. These are all something called integrations or apps. So for example, if I select Gmail, there are triggers. Watch email. So this is something which you need to be important. This is available in every platform. Triggers and actions. So trigger is when something happens, when an event happens, that is called trigger. So let's say that when I get an email, so it is watching for my email and create a connection. So it is going to create a connection to my Gmail. So when I click on this, it is going to create a connection to my Gmail. So once it is the trigger, what it is trying to do is it is going to check my emails continuously. This is the trigger. The next part is actions. So you have trigger and the next part is actions. So for example, let's say that the action is to reply, copy an email, create an email, send an email. So once I get an email, I will look into it and then I'll send an email. But before that, I wanted to, for example, let's say that I want ChatGPT. I want ChatGPT to, so this is ChatGPT. So I want ChatGPT to basically read my email and then reply, create a content to my email. So create a connection. What are all the things? Message and assistant, create a completion prompt. So I wanted to create a prompt. So now what we are trying to do is let's create a simple agent where I'm not sure how to delete this, but anyway, so the concept is simple. So when you get an email, you are going to call ChatGPT and then it is going to read your email. Once it reads an email, we are asking it to create the response and it the response text will be created, and then this will be sending an email. This action will be sending an email. So this is basically low code, no code automation. And this all happens autonomously in the backend. So you get an email, ChatGPT will create a response, and this action is going to send an email. So this is called basically the trigger. So there is a trigger, and then there will be actions. So here in this case, the trigger is when Gmail email is received. And then the action is use ChatGPT to get get content for response, and then send email Gmail action. So what, this is a simple thing where you have an email and you use ChatGPT to respond to it, and you are using Gmail action to send it. So now, yes, this can also be called as an agent, but this is a traditional way. What we have used here is this. We have used this to create AI to respond to them. So this becomes an agent. This becomes an agent. So like this, you can create multiple agents. In fact, people has gone steps way ahead than this. Now you can create a company, and this company can have CEO agent, CFO agent, and marketing agent. So the whole company can run with just agents. And these agents will have some defined triggers, some defined actions, and you don't have to define these actions because these are getting so intelligent. The actions are some things which it can create on its own. So now these are the actions which we are manually creating, right? But in future, these actions are some things which it can create on its own. It don't have to, you have to manually say that these are the actions which you need to do. Because now if you see that when I click here, these are all the apps. For example, if I say Google Drive, this is an app. So what you can do, download a file, create a file, upload a file. These are all the actions. But then in future, agent will decide what needs to be done. For example, there is a file, agent will decide, okay, should I upload it to Google Drive or not? So that decision will be taken by agent. So then it is going to become super powerful. At this point where we are here. We are here where we can create an agent which can trigger based on something. You can also manually trigger it, or you can, assistant can be a place where user will enter some text and an agent in the backend will be invoked, or it can be run on every day. So this is where we are. We use a trigger and we have the actions at this point, predefined actions, and it is going to do the steps for us in the backend. But then in future, it will be not predefined actions. It will be auto-generated actions. AI will be taking the decisions that is already there. I'm going to showcase a small video and I will stop, but there's a lot which we can keep talking, Where can we start? I'll say you in a bit. Let me drag this. Okay. Let me know if you can see my screen. Sorry, hear my audio. Can you hear the audio?
Yes, yeah.
Okay. So Microsoft is creating its own universe. Microsoft is creating its own universe in AI, and that is called Copilot. So Copilot is nothing but an AI chatbot that is integrated into Microsoft products. So if you open PowerPoint or Excel or Word, you will see a new option called Copilot if you have paid. So this is paid, or you can get a trial for 1 month. It is called Copilot. So if you get Copilot, it is available in all Microsoft products. But then they have a new tool called Copilot Studio. There was a earlier previously some other name, but then now they have rebranded to Copilot Studio, and this Copilot Studio is helpful to create agents, and these agents are now autonomous. As I was saying, the agents can decide what actions needs to be done. That can be done with the help of Copilot Studio. This is in the beginning phase where, like, the Ignite happened 2 days back, and then now they have said that yes, autonomous agents is in public preview. So this is just starting. The agents part is just starting, and Copilot Studio is low code, no code platform. Low code, no code platform. So you can use Copilot Studio to develop agents. Again, I don't have to be a tech savvy to do it. There are three ways how you can learn and start with agents. One is Azure OpenAI, ChatGPT, OpenAI assistants. And the next one is Microsoft Copilot, Power Automate, or equivalent, for example, like make.com. And then if you are a hardcore developer, then you can do it with code, and you can use something like Crew AI. And then it's always better to learn M365 Copilot or Copilot Pro, because we are already over the time. I'm not going to go into deep of this, but I have showcased you ChatGPT OpenAI assistants, how to create it. And then Copilot Studio, just saw the video, but then this is where you can create. Let me see if I can showcase that Copilot Studio. So this is where you can create your agents. So you go to agents, you click here, create a new agent, and each agents will see if I can create an agent for you. I know it's late, but it's an important. So you can create some sample agents from this, or I'm going to create a new agent. Skip the configuration. So agent name, you can give this instructions, knowledge source, all those things, but I'll skip this to showcase what are all the things which we can do with this agent. So agent sometimes is basically can be a chatbot, looks like chatbot, but it does an actions in the backend. It can do a lot many things in the backend. Our agent is something, sometimes it's not anything related to front end. It's not something which you can see, but it is doing things in the backend. So here you see this is an agent. What are all the things present? Knowledge. So you can provide general AI knowledge so that agent can respond with anything, or you can define your own. For example, you can define public website, SharePoint, or you can upload your own files for a knowledge like we have seen in assistance. So you can apply your own. And the next one is actions. As I said, you can create n number of actions. You can create n number of actions. So for example, I wanted forecast related, weather related action. So you just select this. So you can create all those actions where you need to do some action, and then you can have a trigger. So the trigger is when an email is received or when some event happened, for example, a new row in the database, things like that. So once you have all these things, then when a user enters, okay, I need to know weather information in Hyderabad, then it is going to call that action. And you don't have to define how should it call, where should it call, when it should call. AI will decide when to call that action automatically because it sees user input here. So this way you can do things. Again, it can be run not with chat interface. It can run based on the trigger as well. For example, when an email is received, things like that. So you can see the triggers as well. There it is. So this is what it is all about. But these are the areas where you can start with. And what is the future? Future is all these things. Whether you see it, you don't see it, assistants and agents, you call it whatever, these are coming in everything which we do. Do you need to be a hardcore developer to develop these assistants or agents? No. There is two parts of it, three parts of it, in fact. One is hardcore AI person who will be doing the framework for this. Second one is low code, no code developers who will be creating this asset agents for business. Number three is who understands this and uses this in business, who understands this and uses this in business. These are the three people who has huge demand in market. How are you going to use assistant in business is important. If I don't have a technical knowledge, that's fine, but I should know there are something called assistant and agents which will be helpful to my business. And this is where you can get it. This is how you are going to develop it. And there is a developer who uses the existing frameworks, platforms like ChatGPT, OpenAI platform or Copilot Studio platform to create this agents. Then they are in huge demand. And number one is creating altogether this frameworks, for example, like Crew AI framework. So these are the areas where you can, and the future is all this. Yeah, questions. I'll go ahead with the questions. Thanks for being patient and listening all these things. Maybe for some people it may be going as a bouncer. That's perfectly okay. Just start with Hugging Face. Start with small YouTube videos on Copilot Studio, Azure AI Studio. Questions? Abraham, can you look into the chat window? Are
Yeah,
you still connected?
right. So audience can also unmute yourself and you can ask any question directly. You can just unmute yourself.
Hi, Shahansha bhai. My name is Zoheb. So my question is like, there is a requirement in my project wherein there are some dashboard which has already been created in Power BI. Now the customer want to get the insight from that particular dashboard in the form of chat. So I have instructed the customer we can use the NLP Q&A, but the customer is insisting on chatbot. So is there anything possible with Hugging Face or with ChatGPT where we can go ahead and implement the same request using a chatbot, and the source file will be like CSV file which is stored in a particular share drive.
Okay, so this has different answers. I'll be saying those answers. So if you are using Power BI, there is something called Copilot in Power BI. So this is a new feature in Power BI. If you are using a Power BI dashboard, just go ahead and start testing Copilot. Again, these are not ready for production yet. Test. You have the
Okay.
visual and you have a chat box next to it, and then it will be able to answer questions from your uh, data source, from your data. So it's not just CSV. It can be Excel, it can be database, it can be anything. You can use this Copilot in Power BI to do it. No, if you want, if you have a very dedicated CSV, or if you have very dedicated Excel, which is, or you have very dedicated DB, there are multiple options. Try, for example, I showcased this, right? This one. Here, you can upload files. I think it's not just text. You can also upload some other type of files like Excel and CSV, and you can create an assistant for it. This is try ChatGPT file and vector DB. This is one thing. And then the third one is Azure. This is the most powerful, extremely powerful, Azure AI search. So this is basically, you can have blob, you can have any kind of files, you can have SQL DB, or you can have SharePoint as knowledge sources. You can have any kind of knowledge sources. And this is the final one is Copilot Studio, but you need things to be in basically Dataverse. So Dataverse is a database. It's also a database. So you need to have your CSV Excel into this, and Copilot Studio will be able to answer your question. So these are the answers for your question. If it is a data heavy application, these are the ways. And finally, if you want to do it on your own, you can use something like Streamlit, Python. You can use Python, and you can use data frame for CSV. So you upload CSV through a web page, and it converts into data frame, and you can ask, and it will be embedded, and you can ask questions into it. So this is very raw coding, and this is low code, no code. This is also a better solution, and this is also chat GPT related solution. You can give it a try for each of this. If you have access and your company grants it for 5 minutes, you can get the best way out of it and share it with the client. These are low code, no code solution. This will take a bit of time, but these four options, if you know it right, within few minutes we'll be able to give answer. Yeah, any other questions? This is a data heavy question. Data, if it is data related.
Hi, this is Fazal. I just wanted to. I'm audible.
Yes.
I'm audible. Yeah, I just want
Yes,
to,
yes, I
if
can
you can,
hear you.
if you can just briefly put it across, for a developer, what are the technologies he should start off, and with, with a normal user, just using these technologies to build the business use cases. A layman, what, or what probably reference we can use some links and references wherein a developer can go and look and start using it, because this platform, there are so many platforms and so many technologies out there. So for a developer, what should I start off with in the NLPs and other things, for a beginner, what technologies I should look out for? And similarly, a person who is just coming up with a solution, right, what he should look out for? And the second question is, if there's if a specific domain problem, I want to, you know, from the scratch, I want to use Hugging Face models. There's so many models based on a relevant model, what goes to my domain. If I can pick up, or if I can just go with Olama 2 or 3, and I want to train that model based on my domain set. So, what is the process and other things? And if I can get in touch with you, I think, is there any way I can get in touch with you?
I have LinkedIn and my website. LinkedIn, search for Shahansha Shaik, the exact name, you will be immediately able to find the search. And my website,
Okay.
shahansha.com, which is already available in the invite. If you have got the invite, it has
Okay.
LinkedIn, it
Yeah, yeah.
has my
Okay.
website as well. You can
Okay.
reach out
Yeah.
to me on
I'll
LinkedIn.
get
I'm
in
very active.
because we want to build some model, because we have a small company. So we are trying to build our own model on some specific domain. Probably I'll get in touch with Insha.
Okay, fine. See, building model is completely a different topic, or completely a bigger thing. So
Yeah.
there is hardcore AI people we needed, but using the existing model is a different topic. So
Mm,
Hugging Face has tons of models which we can use with Azure AI Studio. So now I have segregated this.
mm,
Azure, if you want to excel, then start with Azure AI. See, there are two aspects: general public,
mm,
enterprise. General public,
mm,
go ahead with ChatGPT, OpenAI, and try to do anything there with custom GPT. Now, if you want to do anything with enterprise or for your clients, start using Azure
mm,
AI Studio. And here, developer should be beginner or intermediate, where these are not having huge learning curves. These are primarily tools. You need to understand how these tools work. And then
okay.
Microsoft Copilot and Power Platform. This is a Power Platform developer. It's a low code, no code platform, little different than the basic development. And Microsoft M365 Copilot, it's a tool which
Mm,
any person, like how Excel, PDF, these are used. This is also being used in, day out. Look for it, and any person, tech or non-tech, can use it. And this is the best using AI. This
mm,
comes under using, and this all three is development. And Crew AI to develop agent is developer advanced needs. So these are the things. And Google it, you'll get the links. But then
Okay.
I have a community which I created. I'll send that in the chat window in maybe I'll have it handy. So join this so that I can share the links. Again, only one message per day. I know there are too many groups and people are fed up.
Yeah.
Join this for AI related things because I'll be sharing links for latest updates and links for learnings, things like that. It's only one update I do per day. Yeah, join that if needed. Yeah, any other questions?
Thank you.
Next. Thanks.
Shane Savage, no, I'm into IT, but not a developer. I'm a QA engineer. I have
Mm.
spent almost a decade, and as the trend has started now, the AI or maybe uh, the data science related, right? So I have done some small courses, but the problem here is like to get into uh, to get the things implemented, right? Whatever I have learned, I need an opportunity, which is like will not be easy to get in the industry. So for now, do you suggest that go for some course, spend some 4 5 months or 6 months, maybe example like data science or maybe development course, or rather use this latest tools and just get it? Is there a possibility that we directly jump into these tools and get the opportunity, maybe in the same company or a new company?
There are two learning curves. I know many people needs this answer. If you are trying to change the domain, there are two learning curves as per me. Again, this keeps thing changing, and this is also recording. So there are two different learning paths. One is AI ML, the hardcore way, and trying to do something regression models, this model, that model, learning everything, and then trying to do. So you need to learn a lot, many things in that along with Python.
Right. Yeah. Yeah.
And there is another thing which is called low code, no code. This is something which, see, earlier organizations has spent so much money in this, but the outcomes are very poor. Like not even less than outcome is reality is less than 3% is in production.
And even efficiency is not up to the mark, right? Compared to the
Uh,
existing ones. Yeah.
yeah. So this is one way. And then there's the low code, no code way. So now you can write a Python program. For example, someone asked a question, right? The question is, I have a CSV file and I need to create a chatbot where I can get answers from CSV file. If you go to a person who has done AI ML, then he will write a Python program and he will say that, okay, now I'll chunk this Python CSV file and do things. And then I'll use LangChain frameworks to do it, all those things. But the outcome is poor because yes, we are trying to do this, that ABC, and outcome may be good or bad, and outcome can be improvised. But there is another way, which is okay, try using low code, no code, which is built by this gigantic companies like Microsoft, AWS, and Google. So now the other way is yes, go ahead and straight away use Azure AI Search or use Copilot Studio or use Copilot in Power BI. So now the solution given by this guy and the outcome given by this guy is unpredictable and it will be heavily time taking, like 6 months to just
Yeah.
get
More
outcomes
than a
from
year or
this.
so. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
this
also the
one,
fine
this
tuning
guy,
is also there.
yeah, this guy low code, no code, because he's using it, he cannot customize the outcomes that is there. He cannot go beyond certain limit, but the outcome given by this guy will be within 1 week. Within 1 week, they'll be giving something to the client that, okay, here it is. Whether this is good or bad depends on the tool they are using. So they need to use 2 3 tools and see that, okay, this tool is giving better outcome. And what happens is over the time, Microsoft and other companies will not stop there. It will keep improvising. There is one caveat for this: pricing is going to increase. Pricing is as per the tool which we use. So this is easier learning path. Only the bigger companies will go this path. But there are other companies, non-IT companies and other companies which choose this path. Despite they know that they need to pay, but it's okay for them to pay. So this is one path for non-technical people. This is one path for coding people. And this path is something which is struck by people that they are not getting jobs, and because they don't have that background, but they are entered into that background where lesser jobs are available there. And there is huge work that needs to be done there, and it needs a bigger brain, bigger things to do it, and outcomes are for this area is different. So for example, if you learn Power Platform, which has an AI element in it, you could do it. But if, for example, you learn Azure AI, then it has everything in it. You don't have to write any coding unless needed. So there are things. So this low code, no code part is something which I suggest for the people who is non-technical background, like Power Platform, like Azure AI Studio and things like that. And there is many other platforms out there for low code, no code. Even agent building. If you go Google and say that low code, no code agent builders, there are tons of agent builders without writing a single line of code. So you need to choose that which is being used in companies and learn that tool and use it. And again, these things will come and go. Today, if you learn one, tomorrow you need to learn another. That is there. But it is easy because the concept is same. The concept is same. It's just the tool changes. It's just the name changes. It's just the way changes. But then the tools keep changing. Today we have Power Platform. Tomorrow we have something else. Yeah. Any other questions?
Yeah, I have one question. Like, is there any tool where it can help to auto upload all the videos in YouTube or any other and we can support?
I said you right, make.com. You need to create that automation. It's one click upload, multiple is not available. But then you need to create that automation where, for example, you ask ChatGPT what are the ideas, and it will give 50 ideas, and you bring this 50 ideas into Excel, and then you ask a script for each video, and you copy the script into Excel, and you ask SEO for each video, it will copy to Excel. Now you have Excel with ideas, content, script, SEO. And now you will go to Canva, and Canva you have an option for bulk upload, and you will do it Canva or in video. And then with Canva APIs or in video APIs, you will be able to create the videos for each script, and then you go use YouTube API to do it. So it's more of an automation than one single tool. As far as I know, there may be some tools in the market that has come, or that is something which you can create as a company. Like for example, you do that in the backend. User comes and says that, okay, I need to create videos on motivations. With one click, you are going to say that, okay, I have created 50 ideas with all these things. And then with user connecting to his YouTube and Google account, it will be directly uploaded to this. But then you will going to charge that, okay, if you want to create 100 videos, per video I'll charge this much, and you can do that. So that's definitely possible, and now it is much more easier with agents, but it's all automation.
Okay.
Am I making sense? You can try with make.com. That's possible. You can try with one video. You can call
Okay.
ChatGPT to get the content. You can call any other API to do that, and then you can connect to YouTube API to do it. But the outcome of this vastly depends, because if you take a Canva template, if it is just a text, for example, let's say motivation content, motivation quotes. So you can create motivation quotes with some background, some video, that is good. But then if you want to make something like cartoons, if you want to make something like realistic short films, that's going to be a little harder. You need to use ML, runway ML, or bigger ones, which is very pricey, and the outcome is unpredictable. If it is faceless motivation quotes or news or things like that, that is very easy to do. But if it is something to do with actual videos, that is not yet there, or it's there but expensive.
Assalamu alaikum, Shahansha Shaik. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Remember, this is Masood from Manchester. So I dialed in early. It's quite early in the morning. It's quite
Oh,
interesting what he said, and Jazakallah khair. Thank you so much for all the information that he gave. So I come from a developer background, and I've been using Copilot and Gemini in for AI coding and all that. One thing that interests me, Ranjaba, is that in UK, the government here, they're giving tax breaks for creating AI products or services. So in that light, I would like to connect with you and see if there are some synergies that we can work together.
Yeah, connect me on LinkedIn. If you don't have it, just search in LinkedIn with my name, or I have my own website.
Sure, sure.
Yeah, this is my website.
I've sent you.
Yeah, you can connect, click on connect, and here if you type in, I'll get an email directly. So you can connect with me, Shahansha, or
Brilliant.
LinkedIn, you have my link. Anyone who wants to connect, I'm very active in LinkedIn, Shahansha Shaik. So you'll see
I've
my,
sent you a request, Shansha.
yeah, sure. Thank you. Any other questions? If not, we can close. Is there any other questions in the chat window? And this is coming to every tool, every product. So there is no escaping. Whether you like it, don't like it, whether you know it, you don't know it, it is coming to every product. Every product. It is integration of AI, integration of AI agents, integration of AI assistants into your products.
So, Sensei, can we have one hands-on session where we actually do and check?
Um, Not in this, because that needs a very dedicated audience. So far, what I tried to showcase is very generic, but we need a dedicated people who has some background and those things. So if you want to plan it, yes, let's plan it with dedicated people who are very much interested in doing all these things.
Yeah, like yeah, we have understood the overall generic concept. But if we can have one introductory hands-on session where either we can use Chat GPT or something and give some prompts, get some output, different formats, that would be very good.
Like, yeah, let's see if we can do that. I'll check with Bran Bhai and see how we
Okay.
can do.
Thank I had one
Okay.
question. Yeah, just last question. So I'm into Java development with Spring Boot from past 9 years. So I was hearing there is some low code no code tool which is there for Java as well. So that would be more better, right? Like starting with different thing or whichever technology we are relevant into, we can just go into that low code no code tool and start with that. That would be more efficient and good for us to start.
I
Just
didn't
wanted to
understand
understand.
your question. Can you repeat it?
Yeah. So I'm into Java development, Spring Boot
Mhm.
microservices. So I
Okay.
got to know that there is some low code, no code tool for Java specific. I don't know the name. So,
Mhm.
which helps in
Okay.
development, Java itself. So, that is something which you referred as this will
Mhm.
come into every space, this agents and these things. Low code, no code tools will come into every space.
See, for coding, I would suggest, I'm not sure if you have seen GitHub Copilot.
Yeah, GitHub
GitHub
Copilot,
Copilot.
we are
Yeah.
actively using that.
Mm-hmm.
Apart from that, if we want to get into this AI things or Gen AI things,
Mm-hmm.
what
Into
would be
your
the
product.
learning path? Yeah, what
Into
would
your
be the
product.
yeah, getting into core thing of Gen AI, leaving behind whatever we're working on. What would be the career
Mm.
path for that? Learning specific tools will not give
Okay.
us
So
openings into different companies or projects, right? We're again stuck in that learning curve path.
agree. So now quick thing is that's a good point. See, for example, someone who is trying to change. So these are the two learning paths which we discussed, right? So
Yeah.
but there are people who are using Java, Spring Boot, or like .NET. What about them?
Hmm.
How are we going to use it? So integrations, AI integrations is what something. So sometimes people say that, okay, I'm an AI developer, this, that, but no. It's basically people are the same old developers. They are trying to integrate AI into their application. So
Correct,
AI
correct.
integrations is the bigger chunk of projects that is coming right now. For example, we have a project management system or cost management system or something like that. So there is a project management system where you need to go ahead and create a project. Let's call you click on new project and you give the title of the project, upload an image to the project, and then you give description to the project. Who is the project owner? Who is the project members? All these things you give in a project management system. But now there will be an assistant that will be coming into your project management system, and you will be saying, instead of doing all these steps, what you will do is that assistant will open and then it will say that, do you want to create a project, or it will say that simply enter what you need to do. So that assistant user comes and says that I need to create a new project with this, and this is going to create that project inside the platform. So that integrations is what is very essential for the developers who are doing right now. For example, I'm a .NET developer and I have a, let's say, web application. And this is a simple web application, as I said, project management system. But then how can I integrate? How can I use all these things and how can I bring? So now you call something as assistant or agent. And then what this agent and assistant is going to do is it will be creating an interface to the user, and the user will be typing anything. Delete a project, create a project, update a project, or add members, remove members, or what is the cost, how many projects. He can ask any question. So based on that question, you need to create the agent in the backend, which can interact with database, which can do some actions. So basically you create actions for this agents. For example, let's say that create a new project. It's an action. So basically you are trying to use this APIs, right? You're going to use this APIs and create those actions and connect to the database or do anything. So this integration of assistants or agents to your web applications in your own language is what the bigger chunk of work that is coming to every company, every product, everything which is big. Let's think of Amazon. So Amazon now got a new chatbot. If you have seen Rufus, how many have you have seen Amazon chatbot? Or Paytm. Paytm, if you open Paytm and go to Paytm and go to flight bookings, if you want to do it right away. Very interesting. So Paytm, go to flight bookings and you'll see a small icon called Copilot. Open that Copilot and say that I need cheap flights from Bangalore to Delhi. Can you just give me suggestions? It is in fact giving me the best cheap prices without I have to go and put in Bangalore, put in Delhi, put in how many people, put in sort with cheap, all those things. No. So this is all being done within their programming language only. They are not changing the programming language. They are being done. AI integrations is the bigger chunk of work that is coming. And what you need to know is you need to understand how to integrate this AI. For example, you need to integrate ChatGPT assistants into yours. Then there is ChatGPT Assistant API. How do you create the ChatGPT assistant? How do you call the function things? All those things within .NET, within Java is the interesting part, is the implementation part. So you don't have to leave or change your thing to Python to do it. Basically, understanding how you implement this into your application is very important. Or if you want to do something like hardcore assistants as agents, maybe you need to look into these things. Maybe this has Java where you can implement. I'm not sure if Crew AI has Java or is it.
Great. Thank you. That was
Yeah,
very
that's the
helpful.
answer.
Jazakallah khair.
Yeah, welcome. Okay, yep. We'll stop it here. And thank you so much for joining this session and being there till the end. you can always reach out to me. And thank you so much for the
And a
organization.
request, Shahansha bhai, if you could maybe in the next section cover up Azure Search AI and other things that you covered. Yeah.
It's a very specific session. By people won't be interested in looking into very specific sessions. So these sessions are
Okay. Okay.
generic sessions. So if you need
Mm-hmm.
specific sessions, reach out to me. I will send you very good YouTube videos or very good learning paths where you don't need to rely on someone. You can just try. I know there are tons of YouTube videos, but I can help you refine with that, with which like 1 hour video will help you to get started. But for a generic one or for a specific learning path, maybe we'll decide and give it. And Crew AI, I was saying that this is something. So there's also multi-agent platform. This is something interesting. I'll start complete this and stop it. So LLMs. How many LLMs we have? We have ChatGPT. We have, let's say, Gemini, and we have Llama. These are some big ones. So now if you want to do multi-agent with multi LLMs, not with one LLM, with multi LLM. For example, let's say you created automation with one LLM and you want validation or verification, validation with another LLM. And you can do it with something like this, which is called Crew AI. You can select how many agents you want to create, which agent to be working on which LLM. So those things, these are very advanced and powerful things. And I think OpenAI has yeah, OpenAI has Swarm framework, which is again agent. How do you create an agent with OpenAI's Swarm framework? This is something recently they released it, but Crew AI is something which is already there officially from many days and many companies and many people. Hardcore developer, you can give it a try. And it's open source. I'm not sure which languages it support and how do you do it, but worth giving it a look for hardcore developers, not for the ones who are just starting or low code, no code. Yeah, I'm going to send this in the chat window. The document and details will be helpful. Or join that group as I put in the chat so you can get all the information. Thank you so much. Have a good day.
Yeah,
Bye.
Shahansha, one last question. Being an ERP functional consultant, how best we can showcase that we are getting involved in the organization activities, and that will definitely help in their performance rating, annual performance ratings. So as we know that we will be at the user end, but
Yes.
what activities can be better performed by a ERP functional consultant to showcase that they are working on AI?
Adaption part is great. So for example, let's say Oracle, or I'll give you one example. IT services. There are many IT services platforms, right? Let's call one is Helix, one is some other IBM's, these all things. So one thing is keep an eye on what is cooking. For example, IT services now, every platform is coming up with one or the other options. For example, let's say Dynamics 365 ERP platform, or you take Oracle related products. So there is a new options that is coming in within these platforms. Keep an eye on these platforms. When they give private preview or public preview, go ahead and test it. Go ahead and do it and see how good these new features are, especially in terms of AI. So every product, as far as bigger companies, every product is coming up with AI features. But those are all not in production because ours are traditional companies which not move towards AI until it is in production. So keep an eye on these platforms. If you are the first person to test it, to bring it within the product, to bring it within the company, then you are the boss. Can you hear me still?
Yes, we
Yeah,
can.
we can do.
Yeah, so you are the boss and you will become the core person who has implemented AI. In fact, you are not done anything except bringing in the talks of it. bringing in the feature into it, testing it, and showcasing it to business, and then putting it to production, and getting the credit. Getting the credit as an end user is the biggest fame than developing it, than doing anything. Showcasing it to the people and getting it implemented, adapted is the biggest part. For example, I'll say you what happened in my company. So we use Helix IT ticketing system. And earlier, obviously, you go and click on ticket and you submit ticket and you wait for the response, all those things. But now there is a chatbot. You open it immediately, 4 5 options, you select it, and then you say that I need to create a ticket. You give the details, it created a ticket, it keeps the follow-up. You open the system, it will say that your ticket status is this. All those things are there, emails, everything is being sent. So this has become way easier because earlier, there were too many knowledge articles, like 100 plus knowledge articles. Who is having time to go through 100 knowledge articles to get it? Now you ask a chatbot, it will instantly give it. And then for Dynamics 365, there are tons of AI features that Microsoft has involved. For example, client comes and says that for project XYZ, what is happening? Now we have a chatbot which is like Copilot for Dynamics 365 that will say the status of exactly what the user is looking for instead of going and filtering 100 different things. So that is something which, as a functional consultant, you should be aware, bring it on, test it, showcase it to the clients or internal people, get it implemented into production. That's it. But these features at the beginning will not work fine. That is given. It will be terrible. Sometimes it give wrong answers. Make sure that you have that policies in place that AI can be wrong. But then say that it will eventually get better. These are getting better. Earlier it was giving crappy outcome. Now these are getting better day by day. So that's something which I will advise if you are using, I don't know what ERP system you are using, but every ERP system is coming up with tons of AI features.
But everything is being
Thanks a lot.
documented in the
Sorry?
everything is being documented, right, in their respective ERPs, along with
Yes.
navigation and the detailed things about the
Yes.
they will come up with the release notes, right? So in the release notes, new features will be always there, like for AI or any
Mm-hmm.
other features. So being aware of
Yes.
that still how best, like as you said, if any chatbots are there, and if a person is directly
Aware.
not contributing,
Mm.
a person is not totally
Aware
into the
versus
line side.
help in implementation.
Okay, okay.
I'm
So,
just aware, I'm not doing anything, no credit. Aware, trying to implement it within the organization, get the full credit.
Cool. Yes, yes.
Shansha bhai, thanks a lot for your
Yeah,
time.
thank you so much. Have a good
Yeah,
day.
you have
Thanks,
taken so
boss.
much of your extra time. Sorry for that. And
That's fine.
Jazakumullah khair for sharing
Please
your knowledge.
kindly share your LinkedIn profile. Sorry, link.
Okay, fine. I'm doing that.
Please accept. I hope if any doubt query.